嗨，大家好，阿 Wing 林永嫻啊。咁而家咧，美國咧就放寬咗啦，Covid 已經又係告一段落啦。咁雖然都仲有 Covid，咁但係咧好多 restriction 已經係 lift 啦，冇啦。咁咧就好多 event 啊、function 啊，又開始活躍翻咯喎，亦都係好多以前嘅 function cancel 咧，而家都開始可以大家去參加啦。咁我亦都最近好多謝Hong Kong Association of Southern California 嘅 Young Executive Club 邀請咗我參加一個係 Exotic Car and Watch 嘅 event。咁咧，我亦都榮幸可以同David Lee 訪問啦。咁 David 咧就係李興華嘅owner 啦，亦都係 CEO 啦。咁佢唔止係一個 CEO，佢而且係一個好 high profile 嘅 Ferrari collector。咁我諗好多人都好興奮，想睇下佢嘅 Ferrari collection 嘅。咁我亦都係啦，咁我亦都好榮幸嗰日可以咧就去欣賞到佢嘅 Ferrari 啦，亦都去到佢嘅store 啦，喺 Walnut California 嘅 store 度，咁睇到好靚嘅錶啊、首飾啊咁啦，咁亦都到嗰度啲好多香港嘅朋友啊，咁特登喺 New York 啊，而 even Northern California 嗰邊特登過嚟嘅，咁好開心啦，亦都好興奮，亦都好熱鬧嘅 event。咁同大家講下李興華嘅 history 啊。咁李興華個爹哋咧就喺香港1965年嗰陣時咧，就係做一個挑像師嚟嘅。咁咧就整啲好靚嘅雕刻啦，亦都自己開間工廠嘅喺嗰度，喺灣仔嚇。咁咧就佢做得好成功啦，亦都好勤力啦，而且佢夜晚黑咧仲要學英文嘅喎，亦都喺嗰度咧識到佢嘅太太，咁跟住生咗David 啦，係啦。咁咧佢因為學咗英文好咧，咁佢所以可以同好多外國人溝通啦。咁跟住佢去咗華盛頓嘅博物館咧，專係做啲幫啲藝術品做修理喎。咁就做得好好，啲手工好仔細，好靚啊！咁好多人欣賞佢。咁跟住咧，佢就喺 downtown LA 就開咗個李興華嘅 gallery，咁做到好成功。even 咧好多美國嘅主流媒體都有訪問佢嘅，好似 Good Morning America 咁。咁咧佢咧就喺1980年嗰陣時啦。當David USC畢業，我哋都有啲 comment 嘅同David。我哋大家咧 USC，佢係我師兄，佢喺92年畢業。咁畢業之後咧，佢就幫爹哋手，咁就將生意越搞越好啦。咁轉型喎，咁就唔係淨係 factory 啦。佢咧就轉型開咗好多retail 嘅 store。咁好多我諗美國朋友都見到好靚嘅，佢嗰啲喺 store 周圍都有啊，佈滿喺 LA。咁咧就亦都好靚好大啦。咁佢而家嘅 network 咧係350 million 嘅做到。咁啦，非常之成功啦，恭喜佢。咁其實都有原因㗎。咁但係佢咧曾喺 interview 咧就會大家可以分享下佢成功之道。咁我哋大家可以知道點解會咁成功啊，同埋其實都有 challenge 㗎，有困難。咁佢可以講俾我哋聽佢點樣克服呢個困難啊咁樣嘅。咁咧佢唔淨係即係做個首飾同埋珠寶watch 好成功。其實佢係一個好出名嘅 Ferrari collector。even 連Jay Leno 就係我諗大家如果好似我咁嘅年紀咧，喺90年代咧，佢好出名，有個 Tonight Show。咁佢亦都好出名咧，佢係一個car collector 嘅發燒友。咁同David 家好啱 key 啦，所以佢哋咧就拍咗10輯，我都有 follow 嘅喺 YouTube。而家David 咧就好 popular 嘅，咁咧佢就係有成 over million 嘅 Instagram 嘅 follower， 而且 YouTube 咧有 over 120,000嘅 subscriber， 我都其中一個。我都有 follow 佢啲 YouTube， 因為佢啲 Ferrari 咧真係好 one of the kind 㗎。咁嗰日我都好開心可以睇到佢啲好靚嘅車啦，全世界得一架㗎咋。所以咧佢好出名啦，咁亦都同Jay Leno 咧就拍咗10集嘅 YouTube。咁大家咧有時間都可以上 YouTube 睇下佢嗰啲 Ferrari， 可以 follow 下佢嘅。係啦，咁我哋嗰日咧即係大家都睇得開心啦。咁其實佢唔係淨係 即係賺錢啊，中意collect 卡，其實佢咧就幫好多 young executive 嘅喎，咁佢咧就係 USC board of director 喺 business school，咁咧佢就有一個咧就係 mentoring 嘅 program，咁咧就佢咧就係同一個 professor 兩個一齊咧去負責呢個 program 嘅，咁佢亦都好開心，我哋可以嘗試下佢嘅 program。因為我嗰陣時讀完 UCL 咧有一個 MDE program 咧，其實我都有去 look for 呢啲咁嘅 program， 但係好難揾嘅真係，因為喺好多大學未必有 offer 呢啲 mentoring program， 而揾一個 mentor 咧，揾啱一個 mentor 咧，對你嘅事業啊，同埋 even personal growth 都好緊要嘅，所以我覺得David 真係好有呢個心去幫其他人啦，因為好多人都想去try to have a higher level 佢嘅 career 裏邊，但係又唔知點無從入手啊 ，even 好多做好高級嘅 CEO 啊、CFO 啊，有陣時都想去另外去open 佢哋嘅 vision 啦，或者係想去更有啲創意啊咁咧，都唔係咁容易嘅，所以我覺得呢個 program 咧非常之好。咁咧一陣條片咧，David 咧就會同大家介紹下噶啦。咁我哋不如大家睇下片，點解好多好靚嘅相，欣賞下。
She's going to be conducting to act as an MC and moderator. Her name is Wayne Dupont. For those of you that come from Hong Kong, you probably have seen her. If you're like at my age or younger, you probably know her because she was the Miss Hong Kong in the late 1980s. She spent 2.5 years in the Hong Kong TVB, doing a lot of production and become very successful. Then she left Hong Kong and come to the United States, attended USC and completed her education. She is now married, has 3 beautiful children. I think one of them, Michelle, is here.
Hi, thank you for a very warm introduction and good afternoon everyone. Well, I'm honored to be the MC and the moderator today here. I have been in a lot of TV show and charity event in the United States and in Hong Kong. But this is my first time to be the MC for the Hong Kong Association of Southern California. And thank you, Raymond and Derek, invite me. And also I'm honored to interview David. He's the owner here, and also he's one of the high-profile Ferrari collector. We cannot wait to see his collection. Yeah, and also interview him later. But before I start, I want to have Derek to give us a speech.
Hello everybody, welcome to our first 2022 Young Executive Club event. And first of all, I want to thank you all your support, keep supporting Hong Kong Association and the Young Executive Club, and see all my friends and members here. We are starting out with a special exclusive access today to this beautiful Heng Wah Lee modern occasion. I believe beside the ground floor, you see all exclusive watches, brand. I think the crown jewels, which is in the basement, I believe. Which we will have a private tour later on this afternoon. I would like to formally introduce myself. My name is Darren Ng. I am a chairman of our Young Exec Club and the director of Hong Kong Association of Southern California. And we are here to learn from the visionary and successful entrepreneur, Mr. David Lee, CEO and chairman of Heng Wah Lee Jeweler, which Raymond will give a more formal introduction to all of you later on. Before to get the event started, let me take this opportunity to do a quick commercial to introduce to you all about what is a Young Executive Club. The Young Executive Club is a section of a Hong Kong associate of Southern California. The club provides a platform for young professionals like all of you. I'll share the ideas and experiences throughout our events. We hope to create these special collaborations with our sponsors and business partners to bring to our members different level of networking experience and to promote their business. If you'd like to see this event, come join. If you're not a member yet, come join us. You can talk to Heidi or our staff out there. So if you're interested, join our membership. So first thing first, today's event is brought to you by our sponsors. I would like to recognize our title sponsor, Ricky Shi, District Sales Coordinator from Aflac. Can you wave your hand? Yeah, we got that right there. Thank you to our title sponsor, thank you. And our foot sponsor, Manuel Bacaras from NAT Builders, Engineering. Hi. And our lucky draw sponsor from Lisa Liu, Vice President of AIFG Insurance Marketing. Where's Lisa? Hi, thank you. And then we have another lucky draw sponsor, which is Tiffany from Director of Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you. And an in-kind sponsor, Garrett Brand Popcorn. Everyone will get a popcorn before you leave. I think popcorn, okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to get 10% discount?
Yes, don't forget to grab a 10% discount by the end of May for ordering online for this Garrett popcorn. Because everybody will get one bag before you leave.
And all the champagne from sponsored by the Hawaii supermarket. I think all of you know, if whoever lives in LA, who knows Hawaii supermarket. Well, we're not from Hawaii, it's right in LA area. Thank you for your sponsorship. And one, I want to acknowledge our Hong Kong Associate Southern California Board of Directors here today. I think our my friend Dennis Lee, right there. Of course, the founder of Hong Kong Association, Raymond James. Am I missing anyone here? Malcolm's not here yet, right?
Malcolm cannot make it. He's
Okay.
going to send his apologies.
Chris is not here. Okay, good. So, and I'm also YEC leaders, our committee, which is Kevin Chang. Kevin, right here, thank you. Terry, all right. Terry. And Tiffany Wong, which is our vice chair. Yeah, of course, I want to warm welcome to our Northern California friends. Calvin, where are you? You travel all the way from San Francisco. And big friends. Group of friends, so thank you for supporting our Southern California. They are from the Northern California Hong Kong Association. Thank you. And David, see what kind of crowd you invited to? You're from New York, from Northern California. So we also have a special guest from New York, which is Regina Lai, Regional Director of Americas of Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Regina is responsible for the formulations and implementation of the Council's promotion activities in Americas, with a view of fostering the business relationship between Hong Kong and the economies in the North America and the Latin America. Let's welcome Regina.
Thank you so much, Derek. And thank you, Raymond. And it's just good to see a lot of friends. Dennis, yes. I'm Regina with the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Many of you know what we do, so just now, thank you, Derek, for reading out, the kind of what I put on LinkedIn or, on the council. But all we do as actually at TDC is we are matchmaker. We help matchmake Hong Kong with, business around the world. And so we are so happy to see the Southern California Hong Kong Business Association thrive under so much, leadership, as well as the young entrepreneurs that, Derek and all of you have joined in. And, you are an extended member of a family of Hong Kong. And, Hong Kong cannot be what Hong Kong is or has been without, chapters like
the Hong Kong BA of Southern California. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what everyone has been doing. And I look forward to learning more about successful entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs like David, as well as many of you. Hong Kong or the world with the pandemic has been going through a very tough time, and we know all of us has been experiencing. And I think it's time for us to work together more, collaborate more. I know there are lots of political issues. But aside from that, I think everyone has that natural yearning for a better future. Not only for ourselves, for our families, for our future generations. And I think, being an extended family of Hong Kong, I think there's a lot what we can work together. And whatever, there are, good ideas, out of the box ideas. My team here, with Tiffany leading, we will be happy to work with the Hong Kong Business Association as well as the Young Executive Committee, and hopefully we can do more for the community as Hong Kong as well as for our extended Hong Kong family around the world. But thank you very much for having me. And just one more thing, coming here from New York, I've relocated since September, so the weather in New York is very different, and I really miss the California sunshine. And actually, I didn't realize we will be in David's, retail business here. And if I had knew, I would have my sunglasses on. It's too sparkly. But thank you for inviting me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina. Coming all the way from New York. Now, I would like to invite Raymond to give an introduction of David.
Thank you. So for those of you who do not know David, I'm going to try to share a few facts about David. David is a Hong Kong-born American business and family man resided in Southern California, mainly in the San Gabriel Valley. During the 70s, David's family had migrated to the United States. His dad, Mr. Heng Wah Lee, himself started his business in downtown Los Angeles. I had the pleasure to know him back in the 80s, before some of you were born, I guess. But he is a very successful jeweler, having a high ethic of doing great business from Hong Kong, the hardworking Hong Kong businessman tried to establish a remarkable business in Los Angeles. So we knew each other, and when David graduated in the 90s and took over the business, I also had the pleasure to work with David throughout the 90s until now. And I've seen how David had transformed that business model to where we are today, which I don't want to spoil it by allowing David to share with you what they have done and what they're going to do. David has been very involved in the community, has done a lot of charity work, community work. I looked at him as a young mentor for me. We work together on a lot of issues and try to help the community at large. He's also now becoming a community leader. Just for your information, just on the followers in the media, he has over 1.2 million followers under him, trying to learn from him. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let you welcome the speaker for the afternoon, Mr. David Lee.
Welcome everybody to Heng Wah Lee Jewelers here in Walnut. I know that you guys came far and away, some of you. And even from for LA standard, coming from the west side to the east side is already a far and away situation. So we appreciate you guys making the trek out here. Like Go Raymond said, I've known him for since I came into the business in the early 90s, and he was very gracious to me to teach me the ropes on a lot of things. how to be a community leader, how to, just treat people, what kind of person to be. And so I learned a lot from Uncle Raymond, so I appreciate that, his mentorship all along to me. And so when he asked me to say, hey, we would like to, would you be willing to, speak to Root, which I know he holds Hong Kong Social very dearly because he's been, created, he was involved all these years I know. Of course I said yes. So I hope I do a good job for you guys and be able to entertain and speak to some value for you. But again, appreciate you coming. So.
Thank you, David. I'm sure we're all excited about know more about David, right? And also how he's so successful to build up the business. And I know we have something in common, David. We're both born in Hong Kong and living in LA, and we also graduated from USC in the 90s. I know there's some children here. So does anybody know what that means? Yeah. Children, what does that mean?
Well, if you're USC graduate, raise your hand.
Children. Yeah, this is fight on and victory. So, since you graduated from USC, do you use that spirit into your business?
Yes, for sure. We definitely, in business, you gotta fight on.
Yeah.
You cannot sit there and relax, you gotta fight on.
Yeah, so I know your father is very successful in Hong Kong, and he had a factory built in 1965, and he was a factory in jewelry. And after you graduated USC in 92, you joined the company in 95, and you got the Rolex dealership, and only 3 years. You know how hard to get that dealership? Some people take 10, 20 years, and how do you do that?
Well, if I may just give a brief history, a little bit of our family. So my father, Hing Hua Li, was born in Toisan, southern China, and so he was there with his siblings, and with the Cultural Revolution took away his dad, so he suddenly became very poor because he had no breadwinner for the family, and he and his brother had to figure out how to survive really for the family actually. He heard there was work in Hong Kong, and it was very treacherous to escape and to get to Hong Kong. But he and his brother did that. My father was 13 and his brother was 15. So they escaped to Hong Kong, and luckily made it because I'm here. So they didn't make it, and when he got to Hong Kong, he, because you don't know how to do anything, so you become an apprentice. Your work is you become an apprentice for very low pay. My father was an apprentice for a gemstone carver, and his brother was an apprentice for a suit-making tailor. And so my father spent about 5 years in training. He was very good, actually. He had a talent for it. And so as all Chinese would like to be entrepreneur and owner of a own business, he came out and started his own factory by 1965 called the Sanwu Jade Workshop. And really that's the beginning of I feel the beginning of our company legacy in 1965. And then, he was, the Hong Kong trade, the Grand Council was very instrumental because he was registered there as a gemstone carver. And when the Americans came to Hong Kong to buy merchandise, they would go to, of course, the council to figure out who would be in the directory. My father was in the directory, and especially one team that came from the Smithsonian Institute to do the restoration work of their antiques. They came and they found maybe 10 people, and they went to meet everybody, and he hit it off with my dad, which spoke a little bit English because he went to English school at night, but he was also a very good master gemstone carver. So then he went to Washington, D.C. to do the restoration work at the Smithsonian Institute, where he did a good job, and the people really liked him and said, hey, would you like to open an office in the US? So my dad said yes. So they helped him get a green card. Those days was very quick. Got a green card, and then we basically established office with the East Coast in the very beginning. And then my father then immigrated the rest of us over. And really, so he was in gemstone carving, right? And manufacturing. So we had manufacturing in Hong Kong, in Wan Chai. So we were in Wan Chai. And then we had in Bethesda, Maryland. So eventually we came to LA because it was too cold in the East Coast. So I think you were mentioning, right? I mean, I feel it from back then, too. And so we came to Southern California, Southern California, and kind of my father had continued the gemstone carving business and as well as fine jewelry, which you kind of see. Which also even the Hong Kong jewelry trade was also part of we always went to the show to buy merchandise as well, Hong Kong Development Council jewelry show. And for me, I was always following him to go to the shows. So certainly every summer I spent in Hong Kong and then the school year here. So that like you said, then fast forward, I graduated from USC, then I joined the family business. My father was very successful in the 80s because that was a time where US was very opulent in spending and really good business, kind of like recently, right? And so people bought a lot of jewelry, and we were wholesale. We wholesale to other retail stores like us. And he did, and it was a situation where he didn't have a lot of employees. A lot of people didn't know the factory and went through him to buy product and sell in their store. So he did very well and bought a lot of real estate. So when I graduated, I said, Dad, I wanted to come in and maybe join the family business and change it up. He said, okay, well, and this was early 90s when it was a bad recession, real estate recession. Raymond remembers that early 90s, that recession was pretty bad, right? Yeah. And that's the perfect time for me to come out and start a jewelry store, right? And so that's what I did in 1992. I started in San Gabriel Square, which is the 传统 right? And so I was there when we started, and I really didn't know, never did retail before. But my dad says, hey, if you're gonna do it, you're in charge. You gotta make sure it's successful. You're 100% responsible. I said, okay, I won't let you down. So with that promise, I took it on. So, I worked real hard to, I believe, those days I was working 7 days a week. I was the first one to open, the last one to close. I didn't have all the staff that I had. I had to be the everything, right? To be the sales guy, the purchasing guy, the marketing guy, the accounting guy, all that. So I had to wear all the hats, and we had maybe not a lot of employees. But I think also it takes a little luck, besides the ethics that my father taught me, which I had narrowed down to 3. Working hard with perseverance, and working hard with integrity. Those 3 are the foundation of our business. So those things that, of course, we embody and do that. But what we cannot control is luck and timing. So I guess with the luck and timing, it was a bad recession, like I said. A lot of companies were filing Chapter 11. Rolex was in many chain stores, and when those guys just filed bankruptcy, they lost a lot of money, 20 million, 30 million, And so they said, okay, we're gonna redo the distribution. We're not gonna do the chain store, which was an easy money because one store could have 3,000 stores, and that would be a lot of business at one point. But he said, okay, we're gonna close all those, we're gonna start with the independents, guys that have maybe 1, 2, 3 stores like that. Because then we would have power over the little guys, right? And so that was what, it was an opportunity in this recession time that gave me. If business was super good, I don't think it would have happened that fast. So the recession, when you go to recession, you think, oh, it's bad, but actually it's opportunity. It's an opportunity, okay, for people. People look forward to recession because that adjustment, that's when you buy. That's when opportunity happens. Anyways, in that situation, that was one thing that helped. And the other thing was, me going to Switzerland and not giving up. I remember I went one time for a few days and they didn't even have a chance. I didn't have an appointment because I'm not a dealer at the time. They didn't even see me, so I went. 我白去咗一趟 ，OK， 飛咗去咁遠，咁多10幾個鐘頭，又唔識講嗰啲話，又唔熟嗰啲地方 ，right？ So I just went to 即係撞上面咁樣嚟 try to get an appointment to 見佢哋。But so they didn't see me, so I came back. I remember the first year I came back. Second year I went back again, no appointment, I just went. And I think about the second day, every hour I went back to, to the stand, because they said that maybe between appointments, because everybody's an hour appointment, maybe somebody gets off a little early or something, somebody might see you. So at one point, I think it was around 3 p.m. when the appointment was done earlier in there, and the guy knew that I was coming back every hour looking for him. He goes, okay, let me talk to this guy and make him go away. So he saw me, and this guy, I remember him, Alan Brill, and he said, he goes, hey David, he goes, okay, I only have a minute for you. You tell me in a minute why I should open you. So it was very stressful, obviously, because I feel like, okay, I have 1 minute to make it happen or not, right? So high stake type of situation. I told him everything, that the reasons, which actually he knew because I wrote it to him in letters. And he goes, okay, thank you for coming to Basel, Switzerland. And if something changed in distribution, we'll let you know. Thank you for coming. And that's it. No indication of anything. And then I left. I went back home. So happened 6 months later, I got a call and said, hey, David, this is, Doug Money, and we're going to be around San Gabriel area. Would you like to see us? And he's from Rolex, right? I said, okay, yeah. So he came to my store in San Gabriel, and he said, David, how would you like to be a Rolex dealer? So then after that, after I picked myself up from the ground, and realized that this was, is this for real? After that, we said yes, and within maybe 60 to 90 days, I got the product and I became the first minority Rolex dealer. Before they were all in Caucasian and type of retailers. We were the first to be in a kind of a minority niche space as a retailer, and that obviously changed our business model. I mean, in the industry, we know that what the saying was, if you had a Rolex dealership, you will not, it will for sure make sure you will not go out of business. It will bring enough business or traffic and profit that you will at least pay for your expenses, so it covers that. And then obviously you should do more. But obviously the reality when we did get it, it was very life-changing. I mean, the image, the Rolexes are only in every other area that they are at, the best stores. It gives an image that you're the best store, and you are, because that's why you have the dealership. But the volume of business and the traffic it brings is tremendous. And so we've been a dealer since 1995. We've been probably the top selling, grossing point of sale, one store location in the country for all those years. Thanks to everybody in this community supporting our store and their love for the product. So.
Congratulations, hard work pay off, huh? Yeah, and I know it's a check over 30 more brands in the store too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I know you're working hard, and would you like to see the next generation to follow your legacy?
Well, so I'm proud to be the second generation, I think it would be, so today's 57 years, and it would be great that the next generation would like to be involved. I'm very sensitive to that because actually this next generational pass along and ownership and operation is a personal private study for me. I study, and at USC, I really study how multi-generational business survive. And there's many, it's not just by automatic, and you would think a lot of them fail actually. So I study a lot of companies that have multi-generation and what are some of the things that work for them and not. And so I think they will be involved in some level, either ownership board level or maybe an operator level, but it has to be that they want to do it and they have a passion for it. If they don't, it's better to hire somebody to do it and be a professional owner. And now that the company, our group has many more companies, it's not just about coming in for a jewelry store. There's a lot more to it now. So they need to be trained in that.
I believe so. I heard MGM is the same. They have a family business, but they cannot take over, so eventually they have to sell their business. I hope you can keep it going.
Yeah. You know, my dad always said it's like if you catch a golden egg, a goose, why would you kill it? You know, if you can keep it nurtured, it'll keep producing the golden eggs for you. Because outside, I have a lot of friends that that they're successful, they sold a company, and they go and they start another company. It's not that easy to make another company successful. When you have a good one, you should try to nourish it. You should try to protect it, because as good as we think we are, not every company that we think we do is going to be successful.
Yeah, and they keep our Hong Kong spirit too, right?
Yes,
and the USA spirit.
Yes.
So right now with the COVID, and I know there's a lot of challenge there. The one of the challenge is supply chain, right? You all heard about how many delay on the shipment and everything. So would you give us some, what is your challenge of your business?
Well, so a lot of people, those of you that are into watches will know, if you go to a store, there's no watches, no Rolex watches. And you're probably thinking in your mind, is that being artificially created? Or are the factory purposely not giving as much watches, or maybe they cannot produce so many watches, so then it's no merchandise? By the way, this phenomenon has only been happening really the last 2 years, where there's no watches, and so 2-3 years. And the reality is, actually, in COVID, when they first broke out, they shut down for a couple months. But after, as they opened up, they started ramping up. They started working more days, 24-hour shift. So actually, the production had come back on board. They had caught up. As a matter of fact, they're doing even more, because now they're into this new working schedule. It really is for us, because things is shipped by air, it's not by container. So it's not like there's a caught up at the port on receiving supply. It really is the demand for the product that have increased so much more than the production of the supply and the product. So it really is a demand causing situation that we're seeing what's going on. Obviously, it was already in high demand, and COVID also created a new dimension of demand for product. For a lot of product, when you go outside right now, it's cars are really, you can't find cars. Real estate, there's not a lot of houses you can buy. Everything is short demand because the consumption is so strong right now. So that's what's happening in our business at least.
So do you have any tip for us in how to survive in this COVID environment?
How to survive in this COVID environment? In which way?
In the retail business way.
Oh,
I know
retail?
Yeah. Because a lot of stores closed down, and I know like in Hong Kong, right? I know a lot of people suffering over the business really slow, and you're still doing really well. So how do you do that?
Well, I think that this COVID has taught us how to do business differently, right? It certainly has brought me to understand, okay, don't be inside a mall, be in where you have access to the outside. Also in selling, if you have a internet online presence that you can have an outlet, because if people cannot come to your store, they certainly can go to a website, and that also now there's a big influence on how does your website look like. Does it give people the experience, a virtual experience of like them going to a store, maybe? So really ramping up the website, and then your shopping cart, and how we would sell, making it easy for clients to be able to shop.
I heard the QR code, you can scan it, and then you can kind of look at the clock virtually, and it's really cool, right?
There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that innovation and technology that we should adapt to make it a better online experience for clients. But that is, this whole online is something that if you haven't adapted to it, you should see how it could adapt.
I know, David sounds very knowledgeable, and he keeps learning and keeping up the new things. And you know why? Because he's a USC board of director, and also he gets a lecture, and he's sharing experience in entrepreneurs and family business. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So, and I know you also had a mentoring program. I know probably a lot of people were interested in bring you to a higher level. I'm interested too. Can you keep us more?
Yeah. No. I'm glad that so for being a graduate of USC, the entrepreneur program. My kids, my daughter was a graduate from the business program. My son is graduating this year from the entrepreneur program. And I was honored to be invited 8 years ago to be on the board of USC's business school. And through that, I was able to help the school in many different aspects. I also had an opportunity that they asked me to speak to a lot of the schools classes like the Intro to Entrepreneur, the Family Business class, and the Feasibility Graduate School class. So I've been doing that for 8 years. I go back every semester. Even somebody mentioned the summer, they're going for the summer class.
My daughter.
Yeah, so I also speak in a summer class with the professor. They always ask me. And I guess my spiel, because everybody has a spiel, like, Wing from Wahoo Fish Taco. When he comes to speak, he brings tacos, and he gives everybody tacos. So he's always a big hit, right? So when I come, I drive one of my cars in the middle of campus. I park it there. I go and I give my speech and the things. And then afterwards, we come down and see the car. And I guess that's something that the students like too. So you're going to see a lot of the cars, but they only get to see one when they're on campus.
But a different one every time?
A different one every time, yes. Different one every time. So, but the class is different, right, every time. So it's so I had the pleasure of doing that. But during as I guess as I have a good number of social media presence, I have been asked a lot about being people's mentors, and I said.
4 years ago, Kim and I went to UCLA and we joined the MDE program, and they call it mini MBA, and this is missing. This one piece of puzzle missing. We are bugging the professor, can you be our mentor? But they're too busy, they just like, we don't really have time, and they don't really have a formal classes or anything. But after I find out that, I think we need to sign up. And I know you offer some special for us today.
Well, I said that, just to appreciate your group, that if those of you that are interested to, chime in and join our group just to check it out, we will not charge for you guys to try it out and see what we do and see if that's right for you. If you liked it or not, if you find it value, then certainly we can sign you up for that. I think my guy Leon is here somewhere, and we can we can talk to him and he can sign you up if you want to check it out. It would be pretty cool. I think you'll like it.
I will be first to sign up. yeah, interesting, excited to see that. And I think right now a lot of people are very excited to see the tour, but before we...
Some of you guys might say, well, which is your favorite car? I would say all these are my favorite cars, just like the children. All of them are your favorite. But one particularly like more because of sentimental value is the 280 GTO that's kind of actually in service right now at the end. Just because that was the dream car of mine in high school, and I never thought I could afford because, and it was just a dream. And then eventually I was able to buy it. So that's one of my favorite cars.
I know I saw the J-Leno show, and one of the things I'm
ongoing joke. I guess me and Jay has an ongoing joke. You know, Jay is a really funny guy. Actually, he's always cracking jokes and everything, and he's very natural as a comedian. But anyways, he just had that. I've been on his show 10 times. I think it's probably the most amount of time anybody has been on his show. But I think early on in one of the shows he mentioned that, and it just became an ongoing joke. And since I come back so often, he keeps kind of going on in the jokes, and the audience that view it also is going on the joke. I almost feel like even if I can afford socks, should I wear socks right now? You know?
This car has a special story. Do you want to pick one to share maybe one story with us about the history of the car and why you collect it?
Okay. Like I said, I love all these cars. Everyone has a story and a special meaning for me. I can tell you to every one of these cars. But let me tell you one that perhaps mean a little bit more to me. Okay, so the one right here, the black one down there, is called the Dino. So it was made to be a Leicester car. So much so that Ferrari wouldn't even put their name on it. They produced the car. They used all the designer, Pino Farina, everybody to make that car. But they were so, Ferraris were only V12s. That was a V6. So they decided to name it after his son, Dino Ferrari. That's why it's called the Dino, right? And they had produced it, and it was a beautiful design. Pino Farina did a great job with it, and it was more inexpensive. So for many years, it was kind of like the entry Ferrari that people could get into. It was like 30,000 or something like that, and people loved it. There was a big cult following because they did produce enough of it, like a few thousand, 5,000 or so. There was a lot out there, but people's complaint for the last 50 years was it's not fast. It's not that fast. It's too slow. It was a V6, 160 horsepower. It wasn't fast enough. Why couldn't the Ferrari make it faster? And so this car, although had that so-called complaint, it was also going up in value too. I mean, today it was quickly went up to 300,000, the black one, and today it's at 500,000. But it was getting up in value there because still the people appreciate what it was. A few years ago, I took a journey to say, what if I was able to modify this car the way Ferrari would have done it, using Ferrari parts that were around that time. If they were to make the next version that would have pleased what the customers want, how they would do it. So I went on this 18-month journey without any kind of, just because it hasn't been done before, and to try to see what we could have done. A lot of trial and error, a lot of engineering, and I did this out in the UK, but at the end, what the result was, I was able to put a Ferrari V8 engine into the car, fuel injected, producing 400 horsepower. Again, it was 160 horsepower, now it's 400 horsepower. And the car, with a big engine, you need to have brakes. So I put the Brembo brakes, which is what Ferrari used. And with that fast, you want to take corners, you have to have good shocks. So I put the Koni suspension. Anyway, just like a remodel, you can't just do the kitchen. It goes inside, you go around the house. So ended up we did the whole car interior with some things that more upgraded from the outside that people that know the cars understand that this is more different. But most of it is inside the car. But the result of this is that this car now, I mean, when it debuted, it made all the covers for all the auto magazines. It was on Jay Leno, it was on everywhere. That this is the car that Ferrari should have made, And so I took the journey to do something that Ferrari should have done, and after I did it, it was a crowd pleaser. People really liked how I did it, and it performed and how it performed. So. This car is the car, the black one there, the Dino, this modified Dino that I call Monza 3.6 Evo. Is the only one in the world
It's a really rare car to be one that that embody what Ferrari could have done, and all the fans and all the owners would agree. So I think because that journey that I did to really modify and manufacture really a car that I had no idea how I was going to do it, how much it was going to cost, and what would come out. That after the end, coming out of the end, I guess there's so much satisfaction in being able. I mean, these other cars you buy it and you have it. If you have money, you buy it. You have the car. I mean, yes, you can buy it. You can fix it up a little bit, restore it. That's easy. But that car, where there was nothing. Yeah, there was nothing like that before. So it was very special car to me.
Hi，多謝大家收睇我嘅節目，記得 subscribe and 俾 like 啦。